Hi everybody, this is Angie from Tourangie.com, and this is similar to videos I've done in the past. The last video that came out covered this bit of Pocahontas, Virginia. So there is a section that is the same. But this video will continue on through Yards and Nemours and Wolf on into Falls Mills. So it's very similar to the video I did about a month or two ago. Some of the information I have repeated basically in just a different form, but I have found two new little things that I can read about this area. Of course, one of them is about the person who found the coal in the area, and I had talked about him in the past video. And then I found a little tiny write-up about Nemours, West Virginia, so I figured I would read it too. The information I found, it's 4 pages long, and it's in the Mercer County Historical Society books that came out in like 1987 or 1988. But Eddie Caudill wrote this up, and most of the information, or some of the information, came up from research from Louise Leslie and Margaret Ann Scott. Since Jordan Nelson played an important role in the beginning of the coal mining of Pocahontas, some family history has been assembled. Old records show that brothers Joshua Green and Jordan Nelson immigrated from Ireland to America before the Revolutionary War. They both participated in our War for Independence, and one lost their life. Joshua was the surviving brother. Joshua had a son named William who married Miss Smith, and their son, Joshua II, also married a Smith. Of this union there was the son William Nelson. This William Nelson married Tempe Smith of North Carolina, and the Jordan Nelson of Pocahontas fame was born to this couple on November 20th, 1829 in Madison, West Virginia. Jordan Nelson of Pocahontas married Tempe Bias, a daughter of Obiah and Rachel Smith Bias. She was born in 1839 and died September 9th of 1884 at the age of 45. Jordan Nelson's family were 8 children between 1855 and 1879. 5 of these children were born in Boone County, West Virginia, and the other 3 in Pocahontas. One of Jordan Nelson's daughters, named Rebecca Nelson, married Henderson Tabor. From this union there is some information about their daughters. One is named Stella and the other was named Lou Emma Tabor. Stella Tabor married a Gordon, who became she became postmistress for the Bramwell Post Office. And the other daughter, Lou Emma Tabor, married Rufus Sterling Bird, and she was born January of 1883, probably in Pocahontas, and died in 1969. She's buried at Woodlawn Cemetery. Her husband is buried somewhere else. There's more information about the ancestry as it comes up through the 1900s, but I'm going to skip on past that because I wanted to talk more about Jordan Nelson. To understand how Jordan Nelson became so involved in the history of Pocahontas coalfields, we should start with the land. Within the confines of the David Patterson survey, the first coal was mined in Pocahontas, and those records were found at the Wythe County Courthouse Surveyor's Book, page 122 and 123. And it's a 40,000 acres of land, and I won't go into the survey details where it says beginning at 3 chestnut trees and a locust tree and the top of ridge of the Abbs Valley and all that. But it is pretty neat how they came up with that. Later a search was made at the Tazewell County records to learn the names of the people involved in the early land transactions. Now that David Patterson survey was in October 20th, 1794. The Tazewell records show on May 8th, 1848, David Hall and Mary E. Hall, his wife, sold to John Wright Mullins for $150 a tract of 278 acres, with 197 acres being in Tazewell County and 81 acres being in Mercer County. Then on February 20th, 1855, John Wright Mullins and Sarah E. Mullins, his wife, sold the same tract of land to Austin Mullen of Pulaski for $700. This tract is believed to be the coal-bearing land near Pocahontas. A reference was found to the land grant to David King Perdue made June 12, 1843. Harold W. Rankin, a former Pocahontas Fuel Company official, many years ago wrote a brief history of Pocahontas, which he said that as early as 1860, Andrew Stowers lived just on the edge of the Pocahontas Cemetery and there operated a blacksmith shop and corn mill, according to another record. This land was granted to Stowers on November 1st, 1851. On February 2nd, 1866, Jordan Nelson of Boone County bought part or all of the Stowers holdings, including the blacksmith shop and mill. Altogether, Jordan Nelson may have acquired as much as 1,000 acres of land, possibly more, including the present site of the town of Pocahontas. It is generally agreed that Jordan Nelson was the first person to use Pocahontas coal commercially in his blacksmith shop, and it has been said that Jordan Nelson, between 1829 and 1922, who is buried at the Walnut Grove Cemetery in Bluefield, once told a newspaper man shortly before his death that he bought 300 acres of coal land for an old mule and a muzzle-loading shotgun. Nelson's land, when it was bought at a price of $2.25 per acre. This land was very thick coal seam and could have produced 7,500 or more tons per acre. Jordan Nelson expanded his business and acquired from Andrew Stowers and was supplying coal, first in saddlebags, later by sacks strapped to horses, and then by wagons. It seems that Aunt Betsy Thompson, a neighbor, complained about the amount of coal Nelson was selling to natives in Bland, Mercer, McDowell, and Tazewell counties, saying the coal would soon become exhausted. It turned out that more than 44 million tons of coal were shipped from the original mines in Pocahontas by the time before they were closed. In 1870, Nelson's selling price for his coal was a penny a bushel, and Nelson is credited for being the first person to heat his home with coal burned in open grates, which he made from his blacksmith shop. Nelson's coal bank was very near to his home and was 13 feet thick. In 1873, 7 years after Jordan Nelson bought out Andrew Stowers' holdings on Laurel Creek, Major Jed Hotchkiss of Staunton, Virginia, a noted geologist, engineer, and promoter of his day, engaged Captain Isaac Welch to explore the prospect for timber and minerals on the Wilson Carey Nicholas survey. Captain Welch came into the area earlier in the year and first came upon the coal lands of the property of Jordan Nelson within the boundaries of the David Patterson survey on Laurel Creek. The story of his exploration was printed in the industrial edition of the Bluefield Daily Telegraph on November 1st, 1869, 23 years after the findings were first reported. His story was called The Pocahontas Flat Top Coalfield, a brief history of its location and development. Without question, the report of Captain Welch had much to do with the rapid development of the Pocahontas coalfield. Beginning at Pocahontas, the report of Captain Welch was widely read and came to the attention of the Maitlands of Pennsylvania, who became the owners of the Wilson Carey Nicholas survey. Daybreak was near for the great development that would have its climax in the publishing of the rail line into the coalfields, bringing the great impact on the area of its people. The odds were tremendous, but nothing could stop the march of progress. However, 10 years elapsed following Captain Welch's exploration before the first car left the coal fields of Pocahontas. That is all I'm going to be able to get to. It's basically just part of 2 pages that I read, and this article was 4 pages long in this book. But that's about all I can read because I'm already back to Falls Mills and didn't even get to talk about the little thing I found about Nemours. So maybe one day there will be another video. So this is Angie from Tourangie.com. Come to my website, read my blogs, make appointments so I can help you plan your next travel adventure. As I stop in here at Lee's Cargo to shut off my camera, I hope you all have enjoyed what I've done today. Talk to you all later.